What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Franchise Play. Gotta tell you about this new app called RotoQL. RotoQL works for users for DraftKings as well as FanDuel, and it does two things primarily. It saves time when you're picking lineups. The second thing that it does is obviously what? It helps you win more. RotoQL is designed to give you the same types of tools that the pros, that the hardcore daily fantasy sports players use to get success. You can get in on RotoQL with a three-day free trial by going to the link right here at the bottom of the screen. RotoQL.com/YouTube. Also, take a look in the description. You need to just click on it as well as some additional information. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Franchise Play, and I'm talking Madden 18. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of the games and the information that came out a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, but I haven't given you guys my thoughts in the format or on the format of YouTube. So if you read my writing, I write for Forbes, and I always put the link to my writer profile in the description of videos. So if you ever want to read what I'm discussing of late, you can always take a look at it there. Oftentimes what I'll do is I'll go over something that I've already written, and I'll go over it here in a video so you can kind of get it on either format. So let's talk about what we know about Madden 18. So I did an article called 30 Things We Know About the Game After E3 Week, and I kind of want to expound on that. So during EA Play 2017 at E3, we were blitzed with Madden 18 information. Not everybody tracked all of the info since the release date, so I thought that it would be cool to kind of put that together in one article, and then now to kind of talk about it in a video. There's still a lot left to be learned, but there's some basic things that I can't assume everybody knows. So let's kind of just take it from the top. Tom Brady is the cover athlete. He's a future Hall of Famer, 5-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time NFL MVP. He's going to grace the cover of Madden. He is not concerned at all with a Madden curse. I've talked about how ridiculous that is in the past. So moving on. The release date for Madden is August the 25th, but it is going to be available on August 22nd for fans who pre-ordered the game. The pre-order details are kind of a little bit complicated, but in addition to getting the game 3 days early, fans who pre-order the GOAT edition will receive one of 5 elite GOAT players and an elite player for your favorite NFL team. You get 12 squad packs, 2,500 contracts, and 1 uniform pack in Ultimate Team. The pre-orders for the standard edition will receive up to $15 in additional value, including an elite player from your favorite NFL team and 5 squad packs in Ultimate Team. Alright, next up, we're going to talk about the early access date, and of course this only applies to Xbox One gamers. Subscribers to Xbox Access will get a 10-hour preview of the game, and that starts on August the 17th. So let's talk about some gaming stuff, some actually under the hood gaming stuff. For the first time, Madden will run on the Frostbite Engine. Frostbite Engine was used to deliver Battlefield 1 and other beautifully rendered games. The visuals are expected to be greatly enhanced because of the use of this technology. Now, some skeptics talk about FIFA 17 because we saw FIFA 17, and if we're being totally honest, it was run on Frostbite. It was the first EA Sports game that ran on Frostbite, and it really didn't overwhelm us. So a lot of people are wondering, how big of a difference are we going to see with Madden 18? Well, from every account that we've heard from everyone who's played it at EA, they said that they saw a difference. It definitely seemed to be a bigger jump for Madden than it was for FIFA. Perhaps it's a matter of EA Sports developers having an extra year with the new engine and being able to implement some things a little bit better. Enhanced graphics is one of the biggest things about Frostbite, and from the video that I've seen, the impact of Frostbite visually is real. You can see even from some of the off the screen video that leaked out that the images look cleaner and crisper. So you just have to imagine what it's going to look like in person once you actually get the game. The great news is that it looks even better in 4K. So that means PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X owners should see the game at its best. If you saw the tweet, I'm going to put it up on the screen now, from Steve Noah, and this came from the Xbox E3 presentation. They showed a 4K image of Ezekiel Elliott in Madden on Xbox One X, and it looked really sweet. So hopefully we'll get an opportunity to see that as soon as Xbox One X drops, and we don't know, how it'll upscale or whatever. So we'll get more information on that moving forward. So let's talk about this story mode, which has been one of the biggest pieces of news about Madden. Madden's finally going to have one, a story mode. We've been asking for that for a while, and it's called Long Shot, and it's very similar to FIFA 17's The Journey. It's an interactive film starring J.R. Lineman. He's a former NFL player. Didn't play that long, but he was there. And he plays Devin Wade, a quarterback prospect who is in need of a second chance to fulfill his dream of making the NFL. So it's an origin story, and I got that term directly from EA. There are high school and college football elements in the adventure, but Wade never actually plays in the NFL. So that's important. It's something that people need to know. In Long Shot, you never actually play an NFL game. So expect this mode to be very story driven and offer an alternative Madden experience, not one that is anything like what you've played before from the series. There are also multiple endings in Long Shot, so not everyone's Wade will achieve his dream, and that could serve as a reason for gamers to complete multiple playthroughs of the entire thing. Also, Long Shot is going to generate MUT cards. Wade and other characters from the story can actually be unlocked for use in MUT. The version of the player you get in MUT will depend on the ending you reached in the Long Shot story. So let's go into some actual really deep gameplay stuff. Let's talk about target passing. I want to go on record, and anybody who remembers my wish list they know that I asked for a feature just like this in my Madden wish list last year. So I'm thrilled to see it in the game, and I believe the developers have implemented it perfectly from what I'm understanding. Essentially, target passing eliminates the old button assigned passing and allows users to throw to a spot. It's much more realistic, but it's also a little more challenging. Those who tested the new feature said it's nothing like the vision cone that fans hated in the 90s, so nobody needs to overreact about that. But what's best of all is the feature is optional. So they're taking a page out of Sony's book, because whenever MLB The Show comes with a new feature, they never force it on you. You always have the option to turn it on or off. So I like this because it seems like you're actually leading receivers. You're throwing to a spot as opposed to having the ball kind of like magnetically attracted to a player. So I think that's really realistic, and it's going to be interesting to see how it basically manifests itself in the game. So we'll see. On the defensive side of the ball, improved coverage. I watched an interview with Sim football critic and executive producer of the game, Rex Dixon, and he talked about improved zone coverage. According to Dixon, there will be better zone discipline with defenders who are assigned to the flat, staying put when they're supposed to. I think I definitely always had a problem with that. I'm like, I put you in the flat. I told you to guard this area. Why are you giving up? It's like they stay there for a second and then they just totally have no zone discipline. So apparently we're going to see that improve. Those that are tasked with covering mid-range throws will also stay true to their areas. So you can see that interview. I'm going to put the link to that interview in the description as well. But the conversation was really good, and it revealed a few nuggets. One of the things that Sam asked Rex was about pressing tight ends. And you will have the ability to press cover tight ends. So you got guys like Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, and other stars in the league at that position. You need to be able to press cover those guys, because you kind of got to treat them like elite wide receivers, because they have similar characteristics. Speaking of the whole wide receiver DB or whatever type of matchup situation, you can do best on best. So gone are the days when you had to always try to move your best defensive back to the CB1 or CB2 position to match up with a specific wide receiver. In Madden 18, you're going to be able to set up best on best matchups, and the parameters can be based on overall rating, height, or speed, which I think is really good. One of my favorite things about Madden 18 that I've learned is the new game styles. you can play in either arcade, competitive, or simulation styles. And I think that's going to help deliver the ideal experience to Madden gamers of all types. The arcade style is going to be more wide open and less realistic. The competitive style is going to lean primarily on stick skills, while the simulation setting is based on ratings. That's going to be the setting I like the most. I don't want to always, so if I make the perfect read, I make the perfect throw. If I don't have a perfect quarterback, I expect there to be some times where that's going to be off. So that's what I'm looking for. I understand people who want something different, but that's what I like. Stick skills can at times overpower or just overcome poor ratings, but it will be understandably harder to accomplish, I think, with this and that setup. So anybody that knows me knows that I'm just drooling over the concept of simulation play. Madden rating explanation. So I think Sim asked him about this as well, but Rex confirmed that some sort of rating explanation guide could be on the way this year. Players need to know what each rating means, especially in simulation play. If the game will lean as heavily on ratings as Dixon says it will in simulation, then players need to have all of the appropriate information to build their teams in MUT and in connected franchise. Another thing I loved, and some people, it shocked me that some people didn't want this, but the game's going to have off-ball injuries. So that's awesome. I don't care what anybody says. That's great. This happens in the real NFL on a regular basis. So it needs to be in Madden. Not every time somebody gets injured are they involved in the tackle of the ball carrier. We need off-ball injuries in there, so they're going to be in the game. One thing I didn't get was an upgrade in injury presentation. And it cracks me up because I have mentioned this to at least 5 people on the Madden development team, and every time I say it to somebody, they act like it's the first time they ever heard it. It just cracks me up. But I've been asking for the injury presentation to change, mostly in connected franchise, because in real life, injuries aren't completely diagnosed for days. It takes a while. We don't learn the timetable for a return until after somebody's had an MRI or whatever. In Madden, you know how long a player is going to be out in minutes. I mean, 10 minutes later, they're like, he got a torn patella tendon and he's out for 13 weeks, 4 days, and 5 hours. Come on. You don't get information that fast on an injury. So I've always thought it would be more realistic if the full details of an injury were revealed after the game in CFM. Unfortunately, per the executive producer Sean Grady, who I got an opportunity to interview, that presentation tweak will not be in Madden 18. MUT Squads is one of the first things that EA released, and it's basically co-op play. It's 3-on-3 with one player serving as a head coach, another one as offensive coordinator, and the other one as like a defensive, well, they call it offensive captain, and then it's defensive captain. So I really love this, and they're talking about really turning this into an esports venture as well, or event. And I think it could be awesome. I've always wanted to really see some team aspect stuff in esports in Madden, and I think this is something that's going to give you an opportunity to do that. I liked it a lot. Each role has a different set of responsibilities, and the head, believe it or not, the head coach role, I believe, is the one that has the least amount of responsibility. So I think it's really cool. You can play as an offensive lineman in MUT Squad, so that was something that people had a question about. I think I saw the answer to it from in a tweet from either Sean Grady or somebody else. I know I saw it was Sean Grady. So yes, if you want to be an offensive lineman in MUT Squad, you can. They have something called upcuts. So in the interview with Rex, he mentioned that this was a light year for presentation, which likely means that we will still not get a new halftime show. That's unfortunate, but there are a few new things. Here's a direct quote from Grady. He said, "A couple presentation elements you're going to notice right away are the pregame sequences. We call them upcuts, and they're meant to be fast-paced, establishing shots of both environments and players coming out ahead of the game. Stadium shots with fireworks, tunnel entrances, and visual effects as players enter the field are all new." Close quote. So, honestly, sounds like the type of cinema screens that ultimately you kind of just button through after a while. I sometimes wonder why development teams put a lot of work into some of that. Like, I'm a big presentation guy, I am, but some of it I think you really need to sit down and say, how impacting is this going to be? And I don't know. I can't judge it yet because I haven't seen it, but I don't know. I'm not jumping up and down for upcuts right now. All right, sideline interactions and updated touchdown celebrations. I'm digging that. I am. Dixon also mentioned a few other presentation elements. Sideline interactions are upgraded. The players who are not in the game will actually help fallen teammates up, and there will also be updated touchdown celebrations. The NFL has loosened the reins on the celebratory displays this year, and Madden is ready to help bring back some of the fun on the virtual field as well. That's really cool. Obviously, EA was notified that those rules were going to be loosened a little bit, and they've given, they've had an opportunity to do some of those things in their game as well to represent that. We're going to get, now, I love this. We're going to get more connected franchise focused commentary. The commentary from Brandon Galvin and Charles Davis in Madden 17 was the best in video game history, in my opinion. We've never had a video game, a sports video game, with commentary that's being updated through the season. Come on, guys. We've never had that before. So it appears that there's another layer set to be added to this area of the game. Grady said, and I'm going to read this direct quote. It says, the team is back at it again this year with hundreds of hours of new content heavily slanted towards franchise mode. They'll be talking about the MVP race, the playoff hunt, Player of the Week awards, and more. It's really going to add to the immersion factor of franchise. We've also focused on more contextual awareness for end of game moments, for better recognition of blowouts versus tight games, coupled with the improved late game AI, which hopefully he's on point with that. This should make the end of games more authentic. I love that. I think that is really cool. If that comes through the way he wrote that to me, in our Q&A, then man, I won't have any gripes about that. But we'll just see how it actually comes through. But it sounds really good. I really like this feature too. As you can tell, there's a few things I really like. I really like the connected franchise pick up at any point feature. So this feature wasn't really being discussed heavily in the Madden community, but I think it's going to be a great addition. According to Rex, you'll be able to play any game from the real NFL schedule in a play now mode. So these games will have accurate depth charts with relation to injuries and ratings updates. Once you complete the game, you'll have the option to start a CFM from that point in the season with the team you played with in the exhibition game. So this is a blend of NBA 2K's NBA Today feature and its Start Today enhancer to My GM and My League. That's really dope for an NFL game, because you can get a quick piece of satisfaction from that, because the NFL season is only 16 games. If you just get playoff fever like in week 15 of the real NFL and you just jump right in and go straight, that's going to be pretty cool. I like that. Expansion. Let's talk about that. Speaking of My League and My GM, NBA 2K17's franchise mode concepts, they're the best in the business. Nobody really even comes close. The show is somewhat there, but they don't do everything that My League and My GM does. So this year, they introduced, for 2K17, 2K introduced league expansion to those modes. So I was hoping that concept might make it into to Madden for a connected franchise, but per Sean Grady, that ain't happening. So you can scratch off, I guess don't scratch off, league expansion if that's something that you wanted for a connected franchise. Another thing I wanted was more customization in MUT. So, NBA 2K is my team. You can customize everything. The court, the uniforms, all of it, right? In the show, you can customize the uniforms, but you can't do anything with the ballpark, which is something else I've been asking for. But in MUT, you can't customize nothing, really. They just like, here, you're going to take one of these NFL teams, we'll give you a alternate uniform, but that's about it. And that's not going to change in Madden 18. They're still not giving out, per Sean Grady, they're still not going to allow you to customize team uniforms, stadiums, or anything like that. So that was a bit of a letdown for me too. We got another letdown for you. A couple of them. If you were looking for legends in other modes, because back in the day you used to, when you unlocked a guy in MUT, you could use him in other modes. They took that out, and it will not be returning for Madden 18. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Another thing that will not be in is a lot of people want to edit draft classes. That will not be in Madden 18 per Sean Grady. I asked him, I said, will you be able to edit draft classes? And he said no. So that's a bit of a bummer for sure. I mean, obviously editing a draft class in Madden is more cumbersome than doing it in NBA 2K, because we got far more rookies, or far more far more people coming into the league. So it is what it is, but yeah, it's not going to be in. Next up is a good thing. It's improved offensive lineman artificial intelligence. One of the biggest gripes I hear from hardcore football people is that the offensive linemen are like stupid in Madden. Like they don't play like professionals. They miss blocking assignments that professional offensive linemen would never miss. Sometimes I think people are a little bit over just jumping the couch with that a little bit, but in some instances I can see it. I can see it. So I was told that this is something that the devs have worked on again this year. They work on it every year, and I do think it does get better, but I was told that that's something that they've definitely concentrated on. This is the last thing that I have. It's new Esports Concepts. There are plans to expand the Madden Esports portfolio with MUT squads, and I think the possibilities there are really exciting. But unfortunately, the Esports Concepts or expansion does not include CFM. I think that I had the idea a while ago, and somebody's probably going to steal this from me at some point, but it's okay. I had the idea a while ago that they should do like a reality show with Madden. It should be called like Madden House. And they should get 32 guys in a house, 32 guys, girls, whatever, Madden players in a house, and they should have them play an entire CFM over the course of like 4 days, right? So every day you're playing 3 or 4 games or whatever. And to keep it interesting, even when people start losing, is you get like a certain amount of money for every game you win. And then they give out some money at the end of the thing for people who have the leading rusher, the leading passer, who control the leader in some statistical category. And then you have a grand prize at the end. I don't know about you, but I'd watch that. I think that would be fire. So that's an idea that I have. I'm sure it is a huge, grandiose idea, but it's obviously nothing that EA Sports is wanting to do right now. So that is all I have, which I do realize that was a lot that I was talking about there, but I would say it's still more good than bad about Madden 18 right now. So let me know in the comments what you think. Was there something that was not addressed and not talked about? Obviously there's still information that's going to be released. The game doesn't come out until August, and we're just July 1st right now for this video. So let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching as always. God bless. Peace.